are its achievements? Well, there are around 200 departments now within the organograms, and the target is to move up to 400 by rolling it out, ideally, through to local government. And of course, there are about 450 local government units through the United Kingdom. So you can see in the long term, it could go to 600 or more organizations. New data is published every 6 months, which is, funnily enough, very similar to the model used in the old print. So continual updates are very difficult in the sense that if people don't have deadlines, then things tend not to happen. So to keep things fresh and up to date, and for people to know when things have changed, having hard deadlines are the best way to go. Humans can use the visualization. Machines can use the Sparkle endpoint or the linked data API to grab the material. There were challenges. Many web content management systems used by government and presumably generally used, because it's no special one for government, were unable to handle RDF. So the whole concept was originally that the departments would publish it on their website, register it with data.gov.uk, and that the harvester would go and collect the data from their own websites. But that turned out to be impractical because the websites couldn't handle RDF in the first place. Officials struggled to get sign-off from the ministers. Ministers are busy people, and they're running around, and they have their red boxes, and they have lots to do. And what they can't do is go to their official's computer, sit down, look over their shoulder at organograms data, whether it's the visualization or the actual spreadsheet. And they just haven't got time. It wasn't practical. So although the system was designed with security in mind, that the person who uploaded it was the person who could see it, in the real world, that wasn't the way to go. Upload and validation, usability issues. There were 2 points of validation, both in the template spreadsheet and also on upload to the system. And that proved problematic. People don't want to be told that their data is good enough and then to find at a later stage that it's failed. What they want is to get through everything all at once at the beginning. And there were errors. Of course, there were bugs, but there are also errors that were people introduced, whether that's because of familiarity with the tool, even a spreadsheet, or whether it's just because of human nature, people use things differently. But it's incumbent on us, I guess, as the supplier, to find ways around that, to make it as intuitive as possible and as easy to use, because that's the only way you can get more automation. Otherwise, you get more intervention and more support and more help. In the early days, quite a lot of the spreadsheets and templates were bootstrapped through. There was manual intervention to kick off the process in many cases, and we wanted to get over that. And third of all, despite the idea of organograms, or one of the ideas of having linked data for this information, is that over time you can see how government changes. So a department may split in half, it may change its name, it may merge with other departments. Government is very much a living being in terms of being an organization. And linked data allows you to see that, because you can, even for non-human, even for human users, you can see the organograms, you can see how they change. But there actually hadn't been provision for how to do that. The focus had been on getting it out and getting the first version ready for launch. Okay. Things like silent errors. Why didn't something work? Anything that helped and supported users automatically without needing additional manual support was the way to go. Sometimes there were bugs, sometimes it was user error. These things happen, and that's what you keep developing for.